Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. I'm Rob,
I'm Randy.
and we have a special guest with us today. As usual, we are trying to have people come on the show, talk to them about martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, whatever. And we have Mr. Tommy Cuozzi. I worked on pronouncing his last name, and hopefully I didn't screw that up too bad for this one. Did I do it all right? Did I do all right?
You did great. Beautiful pronunciation.
Outstanding. So, Tommy, before we get started on asking you a whole bunch of questions, could you give us a little bit of background? Which I know it's a good story, but just kind of, I know you're right now you're fighting professional MMA out of North Carolina, and you've got some big stuff coming up. But we'd like to kind of hear, kind of how you got started and what brought you into martial arts.
So I feel like my story is the same as half the stories on here. And I just thought it was super cool. I was an 8-year-old boy. I thought, I was playing like baseball and football in elementary school, and I was like, man, this is a cool thing, and it's 20 minutes away from home. And so my parents were like, look, like it's a commitment. Either we're doing that or we're doing your other sports. And I was like, we'll do that instead because I want to be a Power Ranger. And so we got that started, and I trained up since then. I trained under Team Rocket first. And once I hit about 14 years old, I was offered my first fight. And since then, it's the rest is history. We've been training and fighting ever since and expanding. We had a gym name change to Kamikaze MMA and Fitness, which I absolutely love. And it helps with the name pronunciation, as we've discovered earlier.
It's true.
But
So,
like I said, the rest is history then, just been training and fighting.
so the one thing that stuck out to me right off the bat is you said you had your first fight at 14.
Right.
That,
Well,
run me through
well,
that
that's
one.
so I was training, like I said, I started at like 8 years old, like just before I turned 9.
Yeah.
So I'd been, you can't really say it at 14 years old, but like I'd been in the game a minute, but like the game at that point was like juvenile competitions and stuff. So, I'd been in the little leagues for a minute, and just going to grappling tournaments, stuff like that. But at 14, my coach at the time came up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to fight?" It was just like midway through class. I was like, "Yeah, and what do my parents think?" And they were like, "No, they're cool. We talked it out. Cool, sick." So, got that set up as a juvenile MMA fight. But at that time, I don't know what the rules are in Virginia now in terms of like under 18 MMA fights. But at that time, it was lawless. It was just you could do everything but elbow and knee to the head and have at it. And so that's exactly what we did. And came through until I was 16 years old. I had 4 fights, and the last fight was a junior title fight at 125. And that one we could elbow a knee to the head. They were like, "Hey, you guys want to do it?" Yeah. So they let us do it. And ever since then, like I took I think like 2 years off because they changed the rules after that fight. I don't think it was because of that fight, but like it probably it aided a little bit. Uh, After that fight, got in at 18 and started fighting again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So full juvenile MMA, because I know like that was probably around the time when North Carolina couldn't do MMA events or whatever. So
It was
I
right around, yeah.
yeah, because I do remember when they finally legalized it again. It was like what, 08, 07, 08, somewhere in there.
Yeah, something
And
like that.
yeah, so people just like, what's the closest place to go to? We're going to Danville. We're gonna go fight in Danville, Virginia. And
Yeah.
then so
We
that
were all the way up at Charlottesville for Fight Night Challenge.
ooh,
So it was a
that's a
ways away.
I was gonna say that is a drive. I've done the
Yeah.
Charlottesville drive both ways from like Northern Virginia and from out here too. So that's
Yeah, it's
props on you for moving that far for doing stuff like that.
yeah.
Now, Tommy, how old were you when you won your first title?
It was like, if I remember right, I think it was like 2 days right before I turned 16. So
Oh,
that was, And I remember actually we still keep in touch and like support each other like through the fight journey. There's Oscar Garcia and he's killing it right now, I think at 135. But I'm gonna tell you what, he at 16, 15 years old, he was one of the hardest that have ever hit me. He broke my jaw. So that was pretty sick. But yeah, so
Yeah,
that
that's why I
was
brought that up
incredible.
because I remember that fight. I've been keeping up with you over the years. And I mean, broke your jaw, but you kept fighting and pulled out the victory. I mean, I remember seeing a picture of you on the hospital bed with a broken jaw and the title belt and smiling as wide as you could with a broken jaw. I was like, this kid is it's tough as nails, man.
Dude, adrenaline's a wild thing, man.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of crazy to me because I'm kind of like picturing. Okay, so I try to run everything back to like Karate Kid stuff. So I didn't do
Yeah.
MMA, or I did a little like very, very, very small amount of kickboxing while I was in high school. And then I think about like compared to that, like there's an actual like, Daniel LaRusso shows back up to like high school. He's all fucked up. And
Yeah.
somebody like dislocated his knee twice or something in the tournament. He's like, what happens? Like, oh, a karate tournament. I come back from one. I'm like, I got whatever, man. Like nothing happened to me. Like it wasn't like that. But now you're coming into school
Oh yeah.
with like all these like, hey, I'm like a titled MMA fighter. Like, what was that like? Now I'm just curious, like, what is that like in high school being an actual like MMA champ?
It was it was cool. Like it at a certain point, it's the usual, you know. It's just everyone knows I do it, and you gotta get used to it, you know. Like I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, but it's hard. But either way, like everyone's like, oh, he fights, you know, he trains, and every now and then I'd come in with like a black eye, and I'd feel really cool for a day, and then everybody would be like, oh, Tommy's got a black eye. But when that happened, um, I like to answer questions when I was in class. You know, like I was a nerd growing up. I was a dork, and anytime teacher asked a question, you know, I was ready. And all my friends were like, "Can you maybe don't do that until like all that's fixed? Like, can you just keep quiet?" And I was like, "You got it, man. You're right." Because you know, at the clinch,
Yeah.
so they felt really bad. They were like, "Please stop."
Yeah, to me, it's just like not a, it's just kind of a weird, like, I always think of like MMA, like, even not even professional, like amateur, you got people either out of high school, in college, all the way up to we're having our midlife crisis. I want to see if I can fight MMA. Like, not that it's a bad thing. It's just like, but never in my mind of like
Yeah.
high school, like, how do you balance the two? Because I don't think I could mentally deal with both at the same time versus like, so that's quite impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of looked at it as like an after school sport, you know, like any other sport, football, baseball, because once you're in it for so long, it's the norm. And, you know, I still tell people to this day because they're like, doesn't it hurt getting hit in the face? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. But once it happens a certain amount, you know, you get used to it. You know, you get used to having your arm straightened out like this. Not that it doesn't hurt, but it's just I do that every Thursday, you know, so it's you get used to it and you develop the rhythm and it's just getting getting accustomed.
And then to add to that, Rob, what it makes it even more impressive that he balanced those two worlds was, if I remember correctly, didn't you graduate high school with an associate's degree?
Yeah, I went to Rockingham Early College. So yeah, we were able to do that.
Dude, why are we
I,
why are we having to pull these accomplishments out of you, man? You better I'd be like, I don't know if you know this, but like not only was I an MMA champ in high school, I also got my associate's degree at the same time.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
fair. Like I also said, this is not
I
the
like to brag.
podcast to be ass kissing people, but I feel like I'm already doing it. Like this is fucking crazy. Like it is really good. That's that's impressive.
Well,
So
and back when he was a kid, when he was younger, and I would train up at Team Rock, he was big into, he was doing the jiu-jitsu thing, of course, and the kickboxing thing, but he was doing a lot of the Filipino martial arts too, with the eskrima sticks, and I mean, he could freaking spin those things around like he's been committed since day one. That's just
Yeah,
Tommy,
I'm
but
so out of practice with the Eskrima sticks. It's crazy. I think I could pull a little bit off now.
yeah, yeah, it's in there somewhere, man.
all right. So high school's done.
Right.
you've got more experience than most people. You got a title. You got an associate's degree. So what happens after that? What were the next steps after that?
Well, so I think after that is where anyone who like has started at a young age kind of has to make that decision where it's like, all right, not that everyone has to make the same decision, but everyone at least considers it where it's like, all right, college life versus fighting. And I wanted to try to balance them because, I'd already gotten the associate's degree. I was like, all right, if this doesn't work out, we have another route. And I still think, to this day, I still think you absolutely should have another route as a fighter because, very few make it to that next level where you can rely on fighting as a job. Like I haven't made it there, right? Relying on fighting as your source of income as a job isn't the smartest decision, unless you can. So I went to UNCG for a little bit and did well. And then throughout the years, because I was still training for fights, I was trying to get 2 fights a year. And through that, I just kind of realized like this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Just trying to balance because I didn't live on campus. So it's almost an hour there and back. I'll drive there, leave at like 6:37 in the morning, drive an hour to the gym, drive home, and then do it all again the next day. And that's where we start seeing that repetitive cycle. At first, high school, I went 15 minutes away, right? Easy.
Yeah.
But this one, it was just like you're driving an hour you might have 2, 3 classes in a day and then you go all the way back and then you have to find a time to do your schoolwork, you have to do this. So after about 3 semesters I was like, all right, I need to choose one or the other. And at that time I think I was fighting for Spartica in up in Virginia Beach,
Yeah.
and I went on a 4 fight losing streak. So that made the decision even harder. I was like, do I really want to keep going? And I was like, look, if I'm gonna dedicate myself, I need to dedicate myself. I need to full out commit. And so that's exactly what I did. And dude, don't do as I do, but I did end up stopping college. Right, I put a pause on that, fully committed to training and working. And it's a journey for sure. It's something that you're gonna have struggles with. It's something that you're gonna from time to time be like, yo, why did I do this? But it's worth it for sure. For me, anyways.
But I mean, the balance part is crucial as well. And I mean, I think, I was gonna bring this up too, is you're instructing at a gym as well, teaching the gym. Like the gym is basically sounds like yours. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like,
It's my parents, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're there
Yeah.
with it. So like you're
Yeah.
involved in it. And having that experience with instructing and doing it yourself. I know some people, especially after like some of the big blow ups like the Ultimate Fighter and all this other stuff, people come in and ask to, like, hey, I'd like to start getting ready to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
And, some people I don't think have a good kind of idea of what it actually takes to, God, I don't want to do the Dana White quotes. Like, you want to be a fucking fighter? Like
But it's true though, right?
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what, in your opinion, especially from a coach's perspective, like what are some of the baseline stuff you see that people kind of need in order to kind of either not like boost or speed run their what is it, ascent to like fighting MMA, but like
Yeah.
stuff that can kind of help them get into, I guess, maybe the rhythm a bit better than,
Yeah.
just
So I
like
mean, if
showing up with
you
nothing.
Yeah, like if you show up with absolutely nothing and go, I want to fight. Well, number one, you're not fighting tomorrow, right? Which we've had a few of those that want to like hop in and go, yeah, I want to fight in a month, right? But I think in terms of just baseline, what you need to like your starter kit, I think you do need a certain level of athleticism, right? Like there's people at, there's 115s all the way up to 250 pounds. That's they're gonna have different levels of athleticism, but for your size, for your weight, how are we moving? And if it's very lethargic, if it's very, slow and it's we're not gonna have a good time. We need a lot of those We need a good balance between like our fast twitch and our slow twitch fiber, Um, but I think along with that, we need a basic understanding of our techniques, right? Like I need to go in there knowing I can throw a 1-2. I need to go in there knowing how to escape mount, right? Like our basic, and I not just that. Like once you get that, I'm not like, dude, you're ready to fight, right? But we need a moderate understanding of our techniques. And I think you need a moderate understanding not only of you, but what other fighters are capable of. You need to see and even feel what a fight camp is like. You need to feel the pressure that comes with a fight. Like you spar like 50%, right? You're not going to feel that same pressure. I think you need some hard rounds in there. And before you get those hard rounds in, that's where that basic understanding of technique comes in. Because if you go 100%, but you know nothing, you're not going to want to come back for a second day. Like you're going to have a really bad day. So get your baseline down, get your athleticism up, your basic movements, right? And then we can start talking about thinking about fighting.
Yeah, because I mean, like the thought of fighting and the reality of it is kind of like, as you know, and like a
Yeah.
lot of us do have been around for a while. No, they're two completely different things. Like,
Yeah.
I was one of the very excited, like, yeah, I want to fight. Like I had, like I said, kick a little kickboxing, taekwondo background. I wrestled in high school. And I'm like, I want to fight. And then I got in, I'm like, maybe
Yeah.
I should wait because
Yeah.
it sucks, dude. It sucks so bad. But
Dude, that's why I like smokers now, and there's like the semi-ami MMAs because like you can get that base level, and then you can go experience the pressure with little consequences, right? Because there's smokers that are like go at 60%, right, and that's your max, which is awesome. There's smokers that go at 100%, go whatever pace you want to go. That's also awesome because I think both teach you it's both competition. There's levels of competition but both ways, no one gets a bad mark on their record, right? No one loses, right? And it's little to no consequences. You can go, and if you do really well, it's like, all right, let's do one or two more. Or if you do really bad, it's like, all right, what did we do wrong, right? What do we need to work on? And both teach you a lesson with hardly any consequences.
No, I agree with that. I think that, when I think back to my experience, I felt like, I definitely in my mind thought that I was more ready than I was
Yeah,
for my first fight because it's very overwhelming the entire experience. It's not just about the fight either. It's the entire thing. It's the crowd, it's the
yeah,
preparation, it's not knowing anything about your opponent
oh
when
yeah,
it's your first fight. You know what I mean? Like you don't have any video of them or anything because it's their first fight, it's your first fight. So it's a lot of that unknown factor associated with it. And of course, I pulled the lucky card with Ginseng, but great dude, but just
yeah,
tough as nails already. You know what I mean?
oh
Um,
yeah.
so
Dude, I didn't
so
know you fought ginseng.
yeah, he was my first fight.
Oh, wow, that's a tough first fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, great, a phenomenal human. Much like you said earlier about your opponent, I
Yeah,
still we're friends on Facebook, and he's just a good dude. But
yeah,
um, he went on to have a pro career and everything else, and my career stopped right there. Uh, but in hindsight, I wish that I would have kind of done what you just mentioned. So I think that's good advice for people listening that maybe want to get a start is, explore other types of competition. It could be jiu-jitsu competition, it could be
yeah,
PKBs, it could be smokers, kind of graduate up through those things because then by the time you get to the real thing, you're much more prepared mentally and you have a better understanding physically of what it's going to feel like.
yeah,
And I think it'll be less overwhelming at that point and a better representation of what your abilities are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and like mine was jujitsu. Like I didn't have the semi-amis or the smokers, but I did a couple jujitsu competitions, and it doesn't give you the same pressure, but it gives you a similar mental pressure. And it's like, all right, I'm about to compete in front of all these people. All eyes are on me. I've got this one guy that I've got to beat. It's absolutely, mental preparation is a big part of it.
So now progressing as we go along the storyline. So um you've been training for a while now, you've been competing for a while now. You've been coaching at the gym. How old were you when you got your black belt in jiu-jitsu?
So that was last June. Um, I gotta remember. 24.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was
Sorry, I had my old guy moment there. Quote unquote old guy. I'm not old, but yeah, just like laughing.
so
Yeah.
that was fun. It was unexpected for sure.
So so maybe I might have jumped ahead a little bit. So you had your four fight losing streak, and you made the commitment to train full time. Took a step back from college. When did you turn pro?
So funny enough, directly after the four fight losing streak, was it the best decision given the details? No, but it worked out. We so my first loss was against a guy named Jacob Ashley, who is still fighting today, and he's killing the game. His jiu-jitsu's phenomenal. His stand-up's pretty good. Um, but the Fight Night Challenge, the one that I started on, was like, hey, we're gonna have another show. Do you want to hop on as a pro and see if we could get Jacob Ashley for the rematch? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Well, he ended up not being able to do it, but then that leaves me with a pro fight. So I hopped in against it was a guy named Brett Adams, and solid fighter. I think his record was insane as an amateur, and off the four fight losing streak, I was at that point I was like, obviously we're hungry for the win, we want the win, but I was like, dude, look at his record. Like I go into every fight knowing there's a chance I can lose. So we were able to pull off the win. I think it was either his first or second pro fight, so we're both similar pro records. Um Pulled out the first round win. I tried to take him down. My plan was to slip a hook, take him down. Solid takedown defense, not great takedowns, so it balanced out there. But luckily he tried to throw me and I stepped around, took the back and found the submission.
Nice, very nice. And then, do you feel any different with like an amateur win versus a pro win, or was it just kind of like, nah, business as usual? I've done this enough.
Uh, yeah, I don't feel any different, but it's never business as usual. Every win's a win. I celebrate because you go through, as we were talking about earlier, we go through that mental preparation, that mental pressure, and it's a lot for like 3, 4 months. You step in and you're like, all right, I'm gonna fight this guy on this date and I'm gonna train for it. And that is all you think about for 3 or 4 months. There's not a day that goes by that you're like, you don't think about it. You're constantly worrying about it. You're constantly like, dude, I just want this to be over. So as soon as you fight, right? Like even my losses, like I was super sad. I was defeated. I was in my own head, but I was like, it's over. Like I don't have to think about it anymore. Like it's done. I can go eat a pizza now.
Yeah,
But yeah, but like the wins, dude, it's outstanding. You've got the crowd cheering for you. You look out, you see all the happy faces, and I know Randy knows, but we bring a crowd for sure every fight, and it's a lot of energy that goes into it. So I kind of feed off of them, and it's great, dude. No, it's never business as usual. It's fantastic.
good deal, man. Like I'm happy to hear that. Like, it's always good to have people that come out and support and stuff. Like, it makes such
Yeah.
a huge difference, especially in the fight game of that. So you went to your pro, you did your pro, even though, like you said, may not on paper have been a good idea. However,
Yeah.
like, dude, you can never count on sometimes the logical scientific details of like, well,
Yeah.
we not a good, but sometimes it just works out that way. It's great. So that was like Randy pointed out, that was like after you decided to like commit to it, let's go for it. Um, so what happened after that? You just like the momentum kept going, or did you like come back and like
Yeah.
re-strategize some stuff, or like what?
No, so the momentum kept going. So I had my first pro fight, and then that was around the time that COVID hit. Right. So
Oh shit.
everything shut, right? So I had
Yeah.
had the first one and I like to be on like a 2 to 3 fight a year streak. Three is probably optimal, but either way you get enough rest time to kind of recover, work on what you need to work on, and then come back stronger, right? But I was during that period of rest, COVID and everything just shut. Um Through that time, I kept training. There were times where I had to like spar friends in a field, like we'd go we'd go to like a nature park and we'd be sparring, right? There was a point where it was me, there was a friend named Dylan, a friend named Cooper, and we all went to the Greenway in Eden, and we were just sparring. And we weren't like beating each other up, but we were just moving, working on what we need to work on. And it was funny enough, we got to a point where there were like 10 cars parked around us with the headlights on us. And
Yeah.
everybody was like, ah, and we're like, oh, dude, we're just
Oh
working.
man.
It was super funny, but just kept working on stuff, and eventually we opened the gym back up, which was cool. Um, for a minute there, we did we did a lot of stuff, kind of on the low because it was like the iffy, like can we open, can we not? Um, but yeah, after that, we got started back up. I think 2019 was my first pro fight, and then 2021 we came back for our second one, and that was for UBG. And after that, just I was blessed enough to have that momentum continue.
Awesome. Yeah. The God, we always it feels weird because like, a lot of the people we talk to it was that COVID stuff really shut down a lot of stuff. And,
Yeah.
even the podcast, like looking back, I'll have my shower thoughts of like, we probably could have just done 5-minute episodes every week. Like, did you roll
Yeah.
this week? No, me either. All right, cool. Oh,
Sick.
yeah, I'll talk to you later, man. It just like kept the podcast going, but like I can only talk about so many times I rode and stretched in my living room. Like but yeah, so that's awesome you're able to do that. Still get that training in and
Yeah.
the momentum going. So now comes to like where we're at right now. So what's going on with you right now with your MMA career?
So I'm coming off of my eighth professional win. I hit the last three. I think I built the most momentum in my pro career. I fought Theo, who was a Contender Series vet, and I told you I go into fights expecting there's a possibility I'm gonna lose. But that one I was almost certain I was gonna lose. I was like, this is where my streak ends right here, and did a lot better than I thought I would. I was definitely blessed to go in there and perform as I did, and had my other win in my hometown, and then the last one was in my hometown as well. He was an 8-4 guy, super, good dude, good record, and off of that, I've got a new manager now. My parents they're my managers, but I've got an official manager now, Mr. Derek Brunson. So he's helping me out, kind of guiding my career. He's doing a good job, kind of guiding my training as well. And with that being said, he was able to find the Contender Series shot. He got in contact with who he needs to get in contact with, and for everyone that helped me there, the matchmakers there. But they said we should be able to get him a match on August 19th,
Okay.
and that's what we're doing this summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's
Ah,
awesome.
thank you. Thank you. It'll
What
be
So
did
fun.
what
yeah.
did what did what did what did your mind when you got that news? That must have been such an awesome moment for you. All the hard work, all the
Oh,
commitment, all the years.
it it's still not believable, Like I don't think it's real still. Like we've been kind of prepping for it, especially after the Theo fight. I was kind of like, it's got to be soon. Like hopefully we can make it work soon. And just whatever, we're gonna keep fighting, we're gonna keep trying, and come to the point where Mr. Brunson was like, I'm gonna get in contact with these guys. We're gonna try to set something up. If not, we're gonna keep fighting, but we're gonna try to set something up. And it's funny enough, I was on vacation. I was on the honeymoon in Japan, and he hit me up. It was like, "Hey, August 19th, you're good to go." And like I said, it doesn't feel real because you start fighting. Like ever since I was 14 years old, it was like, "Hey, we need to make it there, right? We need to get to that next level." And I'm 11 years in the game now, right? Like that's a long time. That's a lot of invested time in training, fighting, mental prep, dieting. And it's just like you never feel like it's gonna get there. You never feel like you're gonna be able to get that chance to go to the top show. And now it's happening. It's like there were a few guys selected and I happened to be one of them. So it doesn't feel real, man. It's it's odd.
It's incredible to see, though. I mean, because we've covered a lot of it on the show already, but your commitment, your mindset, you stay humble throughout all these things, which is very impressive. But you've gotten a lot of experience in a not I want to say a short amount of time, but you got it early.
Yeah.
You got a lot of experience earlier than most people are able to acquire that experience, and I think that's so incredible, and it's a testament to your commitment that you've had since the first time I ever met you. I know that. So it's just super cool to see, and I'm just very, very, very excited and proud, man. I'm definitely looking forward to watching what you do.
Thank you, man. Hopefully I don't disappoint.
Nah, bro, not even possible at this point.
Yeah, no, I get to be that guy at work. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go home watch Contender tonight. This guy I know that's on it. No big
Yeah,
deal.
it's just a
Like,
guy, and
yeah, no big deal. It's like, yeah, that's a dude. Like we chatted this past
yeah,
weekend.
we're
Like,
homies at this point,
whatever. Yeah. I just get to live vicariously on and ride the coattails of others for like I got a
It was
guy. This guy. Oh,
it was funny. I worked over at the High Point Furniture Market this past weekend, and
yeah.
everyone in the showroom that I normally work in, I do a little bartending there with Proper Pour events, and I've been in the same showroom for three markets now. It's CR Lane. They've got like Sunbrella and everything, and all those guys heard about it, and they were like, "So tell me about this." And they were all like, "We're so excited! We're gonna have a watch party. We know that
Oh,
guy." And I was like, "It's like, guys, I'm just pouring you drinks."
I think another wild take from that is that a furniture store has like a place you can drink in it. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
That's
I caught that too.
well, not to get on a side tangent, but
oh, this
about
show's all
two
about
years.
them. Go for it.
Oh, perfect. So about 2 years ago, so Will, he's one of my coaches, my Muay Thai coach, owns
Yeah.
Proper Pour Events. Shameless plug there. But he's great dude, great. It's a mobile bartending, like a catering type service, and does weddings, events. And he hit me up and was like, "Hey, you want to work the furniture market this weekend?" Number one, didn't know that was a thing, right? Had no idea. Turns out it's one of the biggest furniture things in the world. People from all over will come get furniture. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like kind of an odd setup, but yeah, I'll work it. So I went, and it's just people shopping around for furniture, and you give them free drinks if they want them. And he was like, all right, you did good. We're going to put you over here now. And ever since then, I've been kind of in the same showroom, and it's like I said, it's the oddest setup, but it works. Like you're showing them around, and it's all about like forming connections. Like there's the sales reps.
Yeah.
They have their customers that they know, and they'll know them by name, and it's like, yeah, you want to stop by a drink real quick, and it's like it kind of gives them a chance to form like that connection, and I
Yeah.
think it works out in the end. But yeah, thinking about it, it's super weird.
Well,
Like
I think Rob needs a new couch. I think we need to.
Listen, come to CR Lane. We'll we'll make it happen, and I'll pour you a drink.
oh my no, just like to me it's very just like when
Yeah.
Wegmans and like what was it? Lowe's Foods. They're like, hey, we have a bar in the grocery
Yeah,
store now. I'm like,
yeah,
this could be
and it works
bad
though.
because yeah.
Thinking about it, it's like, why that's so odd. But then you go and you're like, yeah, I'll have a margarita. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Let me get
Absolutely.
this 11% porter, and I'm just gonna
Yeah,
like just not make right decisions on what I should be.
yeah.
Yeah, of course I need like three things of Chips Ahoy cookies. Like
So some brewery out there needs to make like a grandpa's recliner porter.
Oh,
that'd be
dude.
cool actually.
No, I'll
Yeah,
I'll hit them up and we'll get that set up.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Tommy knows Trevor Hayes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
another friend of the show. Yes.
yeah.
It's Trevor's the homie, man. Trevor was there for like I don't know if it was my first fight, but it was one of is within the time frame of my first four when I was under 18. He was there for my third one for sure, and actually he helped me put in a little bit of work for that one. So he's been with me for a minute now.
Hmm.
Nice. Very nice.
I feel
I
like I feel like he knows everybody, man.
who Trevor Hayes?
He's a popular guy.
Yeah.
Trevor Hayes is legit. Like I've got a guy. Like
Yeah,
I got a
Yeah.
he's
guy. It's
announced my fights. He's helped me train for fights. Worked Toro cage side. He's done it all.
Hmm.
yeah. He's a as much as he like kind of he's humble about it too. Like he is
Oh yeah,
a staple in the martial arts community in North Carolina for sure. So it's just
absolutely. I need to stop by hometown and get some work in this camp for sure.
I felt real bad because he had his grand opening yesterday, and I'm like, I want to
Yeah,
go to this, but then like they have a relay for life in Wake County that I've been doing for years, so I'm just like, ah, damn it.
yeah,
Like, I'll try. Can I squeeze them both in? Can't. So
Yeah.
yeah. I had to work yesterday, so I felt bad. I wanted to go.
I think I got a better excuse than all you guys. I wasn't even in the state.
yeah,
I was in Arizona. I couldn't make it if I wanted to.
Ah,
Um, we should all just crash his gym one day.
we should.
All
I'd
we
of us.
love
need
to do
to.
it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we keep talking about, it. And that's kind of like now we have Kamikaze we got to go to. We
Yeah,
have hometown. See, look, there you go. Like I got the name down.
Yep.
We
you
got
got it.
hometown. Like there's something I want to try to do because I know Randy and I had talked about it, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Secret stuff, secret things,
Secret
but
stuff.
secret things. But yeah. So I do appreciate you coming on the show today, man. Like I really do. It's been
I love
awesome.
to be here.
Yeah, dude. Anytime I get to talk with like really awesome people who work hard. Like you talked about the 11 years of commitment and not seeing, or, maybe not like realizing or seeing the end in sight sometimes because, like you're doing all the right stuff. It sucks. And then like finally one day it happens. And I mean, that's for a lot of stuff in combat sports, it feels like. I mean, we talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all the time. Like, how long does it take to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Like, you can
Yeah,
absolutely do it in 5 to 6 years. Some people have done it even shorter than that, but there's
yeah,
other factors to it. But like, the average is 10 to 11 years. And, there are
yeah,
plenty of times you're just like, I fucking hate this sport.
yeah. Yeah,
Like, I
as a
want to see.
black belt, I still feel that. My first black belt competition was against Aaron Besson, and I don't know if you guys know who he is, but his jujitsu's phenomenal. And I thought I'd do a lot better against him than I did. He trains over at G13,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a
like
good
the
school.
bagels and everybody. Yeah, and it was like he was toying with me. It was zero competition for him. And the funny thing is like I went to his gym. It was like the next weekend or like the weekend after. Just I wanted to get some work in with him. And we rolled, and it was a good roll. And I don't know if he was going easy on me, probably. But regardless, like I felt a lot better than in the competition. And I was like, dude, where was that at? And someday, even as a black belt, you have those days where you're like, yo, this sucks. This ain't worth it, but it always is.
Yeah, there's those days where I feel like you're rolling through mud.
Yeah,
Like I was in so while I was in Arizona, when I landed the first day I got in there, I was sitting at the hotel and I was like, I just spent all day traveling, time change, all this crap, and I'm like, if I just sit in this hotel right now, that's gonna be what I do the entire trip.
yeah,
So I was like, all right. So I went and found an open mat or a gym. Well, it wasn't even supposed to be an open mat. I was just trying to find a jiu-jitsu school to train at.
Yeah.
I found one,
yeah.
Sonoran BJJ. Went in there, dropped in. 10 round Tuesday is what they called it. And I was like, well, that's fantastic because I'm already fucking exhausted and they got 10 round Tuesday. So great rolls, but very much like what you said, like I felt like I was doing okay, and then all of a sudden I just hit a wall, and it was like I was rolling through mud, and nothing. I was like, have you ever have your brain just shut off while you're rolling to where it's
Oh
like
yeah.
not in the good way, not in the like flow state where everything is going right. It's just where you forget how to do jujitsu for some reason. You're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't.
like thinking about dinner while you're getting choked,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was my experience. It's so weird how that works, man.
Yeah, whenever that happens, I resort back to like old man jujitsu and I just kind of like lay on my back and shell up
Yep.
and I find the easiest roll that I can find. Like I'll find the day 3 white belt and I'll lay on my back and just kind of like, all right, submit me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good
It gives me a
excuse.
nice little, yeah, it gives me a good little like rest round and then we're like, all right, we're back in the game. We're not, but like I think I am.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I've done that before. Just like I'll pull half guard on like a purple belt, like let them do all this stuff. And I'm just I'm tired. I remember
Yeah.
I did that once and someone's like, yeah, it was no gi. He's like, oh, yo, what rank are you? You should be doing X, Y, and Z. I was like, oh, I'm black belt. I was just letting him work, just letting him
Yeah.
work. It's fine. He was
Yeah,
like,
he's
oh,
got
okay.
it.
I was like, yeah.
That's so I've got a couple guys in my class now that are coming up, and they're getting to where they're really good. I know Randy, you know Motley,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
John Motley.
I
We've
miss
got
Motley, man.
yeah, dude, he's still keeping up with it. He's once or twice a week he's there, and he's always like, "Yo, I got this new thing I've got to show you. I thought about it in the shower," and I was like, "Sick." Uh, yeah, and that's you normally have shower thoughts that are not like that, but he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I came up with this new technique in the shower," and I'm like, "Yeah, did you like try it out in the shower?"
That's
But
that's a that's a classic Motley right there, man.
yeah. And then we've got like Corbin Manley coming up. We've got a few that are getting there. And like as a coach, I'll be walking around and I'll see something, and I'm like, "Hey, do this real quick," and they'll look at me and be like, "I'm like, all right, you got it. Let them work."
Let him
Yeah,
work.
I miss the two Johns, man. Motley and Emerson. Those two guys,
Yeah,
they
he
were my
came
they were my
not to
boys,
my
man.
last fight, but to the fight before that. Emerson did, and
Yeah.
he was it was good to see him. He actually hit me up for this next one and was like, "It sounds like a Vegas trip to me." He's, they're both amazing guys. I love them both.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Well,
man.
that is
That's awesome.
Yeah.
that is good. And I appreciate you guys, the hard work you've been doing, especially with the coach and stuff. But I once again I do appreciate you coming on the show, especially on a Sunday. It's been really awesome talking with you, and I'll let you plug whatever you need to plug if you want people to find you. Like, where can we find you?
Yeah, anywhere. No, but so I don't. Dude, I don't even know if I still have a Twitter account. I was like 2013 when I was on it, but I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram it's tvcjr.mma, and then Facebook just Tommy Quasi or Tommy Little T Quasi is like my fight page. Um, dude, don't let me plug things because we'll be here for another 26 minutes. But clearly at the Rep Toro. You can't not, right? Live to roll. This is, one of their newer shirts. They keep me looking good. They keep me feeling all cute when I'm out there. They actually, he gave me a custom pair of shorts last fight,
Nice.
and I don't think I'm gonna be able to fight in them for this next one. But it was cool to have. And Corrupted Arts. I hit them up. We need a new tattoo soon. Uh, Dude, just Eden Chiropractic Pro Therapy Concepts keep me feeling good, and actually, I'm gonna start lifting weights with them soon, just to kind of build that power. Maybe get that Alex Pereira left hook going on in the next fight. We don't know. Uh, but dude, I will shamelessly plug whoever. We already mentioned Proper Port Events, and he's my coach too, so keeps me working, keeps me having fun over here, keeps my mind off of things. It's fun, dude. There's so many that I could thank. The Vacation Stitcher, Veteran Voltage, the dude designs. Oh yeah, he designs all my shirts, like all the cool, like the smiley face, the violent smiles, the Akatsuki. He designs all those. I've got so many people that help me. There's no shot. This is a solo journey.
Yeah, see, that's classic Tommy right there too. That's another thing I like is the appreciation you have for your people in your circle. Real
Yeah.
quick, because you did mention it, and I know we're getting ready to shut it down, but it's worth bringing up.
Okay.
Two things, real quick.
Oh,
Number one, Violent Smiles. For the people that have not watched Tommy fight, and I can't wait to see this on freaking national television, is he smiles while he fights, like constantly.
Good.
well, it's kind of if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And I started that actually in my amateur career with an opponent named Samson Saucer. He was a bit of a trash talker, and I told myself I'm gonna smile every time he hits me, right? Just I wanted to get up here. And then I also realized like if I can tell myself to smile, my mind's not off where it doesn't need to be. Like it's not over here going, yo, like I just got hit, right? Like I'm panicking. It's like, all right, you can tell yourself to smile, you're fine. And it messed with him a little bit. Like after the fight, he was like, "Dude, you smiled every time I hit you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sick." So then on, it was just, it was a thing that I did. It was a natural thing. And my second pro fight, I remember I had to dial it back a little bit because he would catch me, and I've worked a lot of overhand defense since then, but he would catch me with an overhand quite often, and every time he'd catch me, I'd be like, "Yo, good job, good hit." And I sat down in the corner, and Dad was like, "Dude, if you don't stop high-fiving this guy," and I was like, "I'm sorry,
I love it,
my
man.
bad."
And then also, I'm gonna give you an opportunity right now
Yeah.
because I love your dad. Your dad is awesome. But I'm gonna give you the opportunity of a lifetime right now, a mic drop moment, because he can't even counter it right
You
now.
can't rebuttal.
Yeah. Who has the best lines on their lawn right now?
All right, so I want to start by saying I love my family,
Mm.
right? The support my family, my gym give me, they're outstanding, right? I couldn't do any of this without them. But if you look at our lawns, now since he can't rebuttal, I'm gonna do him the justice of going, his lines are getting there. They're doing okay, right? Not great, but they're doing okay. However, I don't know if you've ever driven and passed like a field before they planted anything, and it's just lines of dirt and
Yeah.
dryness. That's what we're working with at the moment. So there's lines, but it looks like the movie Holes. And mine are definitely better with greener grass. I just, want to shamelessly throw that out there.
Nice. Nice.
All
I
good.
already told him if I can manage to get the win in August, and if I get the mic, I don't know if I'm going to get the mic, but if I can get the mic, national television, everyone's going to know. And I
Yeah.
don't think he can. Where do you go from there, right? Like, is he going to
No.
take the mic from me? No way.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, but yeah. Well, dude, like Rob said, man, this has been a really fun conversation. We'll have to get you back on,
Yeah.
regardless of how things go. Everybody's super proud of you. Everybody's cheering for you. Just keep it up, bro. You're making everybody proud. So,
Thank you, man. And it's an honor to be on. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this has been another episode of the Big Jiu Jitsu Show. I'm Rob,
I'm Randy.
and we'll catch you guys next time.